fucking signed in. Yes.
Alright, fellas, what's going on? Denonu here, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And in this video here, we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man HomeComing trailer. I'm a little bit late with this, meant to get this out a couple days ago, but some stuff came up. So I figured, being a huge Spider-Man fan myself, seen all the movies. Excuse me. Seen all the movies, seen all the cartoons. I grew up with Spider-Man comic books. Been reading them ever since probably what was it, brand new day, one more day, whatever you want to call it. Basically when Spider-Man gave up his merge with Mary Jane, that's when I stopped reading it. But I still follow everything about Spider-Man because he was pretty much my favorite superhero coming up as a kid. So anyway, we're talking about the movie here. Movie wise, it looks good. It looks like they're trying to really ground Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's a really good thing. Excuse me. You have Robert Downey Jr. being, me and Iron Man in there. They probably spent a whole lot more money on him, but that's good since he's the recognizable face of the MCU. They have to, or they don't have to, but having him in the movie can only help. And by him having that mentor slash person you look up to kind of sort of role, fits the character. Kind of reminds me of what how Peter Parker was with Tony Stark and Civil War, the comic book story, the first one. And so it kind of sort of mirrors that. It looks like they're taking a lot from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Could be wrong on that, but it doesn't play out like the normal 616 Spider-Man. You got the friends in high school. I don't know if the guy that they showed in this is going to be the same guy who was in the comics, but he's the person who fit that role. Because if I remember right, the original Spider-Man 616 story he didn't have a best friend like that, that would hung out with him and everything like that. I mean, if anything, he had Flash Thompson, but he used to bully him. But so far about the movie, though, I mean, it looks good. I mean, to me personally, since I already know everything about Spider-Man, to me, the high school stuff is kind of boring to me. I kind of hate that. I don't want to see it because I already know it. I've seen it 50 billion times. But I can understand why they have to do it. Because by this being a new universe, a new, cohesive thing that they're doing, you have to establish that. You have to have that origin. And if they're not doing a straight up origin movie, which obviously they're not, you have to show where Peter Parker's life is. And this fits, because this is how at least Spider-Man, when he first was introduced, he got his powers when he was like 15. So it makes sense for them to start at the basics. They have to show that. The only really issue I have is, I guess, with the suit. I don't know why they went with the whole Civil War suit. I don't know why he still has that, but hey, I mean, it is what it is. It works. It's just like the original, but it has those little black, bold lines on it. I'm not sure how I feel about those. I'm not a particular fan, but really hated the Amazing Spider-Man, outfit. So they just went, to the complete opposite end of the spectrum with that one. But I think with this one, they gave him the web wings. Surprising. Totally did not see that coming. The web wings is something from the earlier Spider-Man comics, and I think it even stayed up through like the late 90s. They made them smaller and smaller and smaller, and then they just got rid of them altogether in the comics. And it's something that, personally, they've never really served a purpose in the comic books. They were just there. And it's something that I never really liked about the original outfit. But hey, just the fact that they're throwing him in a movie, paying homage to it, that's what's up. It's shows where they're drawing and how they care about the character and everything like that. So nothing but a plus there. They're probably going to use them like, what do they call those wings that people make when they glide on air and they have like the flight suits and things? They're probably going to use it something like that. I mean, since he's fighting the Vulture, Adrian Toomes is going to be flying all around, and he has to get to him some kind of way. So he's gonna probably do like one of those long jumps and start gliding to get to him or something. He has to do something with it. So the only other thing I could think of that I really don't like And I don't know, I don't keep up with the casting news and everything like that, but is the one main, I don't know if she's gonna be a love interest or not. I'm gonna assume she is. Is she gonna be like, is she playing Mary Jane? Because if that's the case, by her not having red hair and green eyes and looking white is a huge problem for me. Like, I have a huge Mary Jane complex from old school Spider-Man comics. And I hate when movies, and that's Marvel, DC, WB, whoever, Hollywood in general, I hate when they change a character or change their hair color, you know, to fit their movie version, because I don't understand why they don't do it. Back in the day, you had people dye their hair, wear wigs, and all that kind of sort of stuff to look like whatever it is that they're portraying. So now in like every newer movie, and Marvel's no exception to this, they will change their hair color for some unknown fucking reason, and I hate that. Like, I can say, just off the top of my head, let's say Captain America is supposed to be blonde. Now he has, you know, brown hair. Pepper Potts, same thing. Who else? They aren't winning by much. Take them out, 6-4. I'm trying to think of all the different heroes and stuff, and it's like completely still in my mind here. Nah, Tony Stark's normal. Lois Lane from Batman vs Superman. Again, black hair, but yet in the movie she's like dirty blonde, brownish. It's like, I don't understand why they don't just dye their hair. I mean, if you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to make a movie, just like dye your hair, you know. It's part of a job. I mean, if that's a job you go for, do it. But I have to read up onto what character she's playing, because she could be playing somebody else. Every article I see is always saying different things. She's playing Mary Jane, she's not playing Mary Jane, so I don't know. But if she is playing Mary Jane, not really feeling that, YouTube, really not. If she's playing somebody else, or because I know Spider-Man has had a few love interests in the past. He's had Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, Betty Brant at some point. So if maybe she's playing Betty or something, I don't know. Or I think, what was the other girl's name? She wasn't really a love interest per se like that, but they dated a bit. Was it Liz Allen, I think her name was, in the comic books? But I mean, maybe she's playing one of those other characters. Maybe they don't want to jump into the whole Mary Jane stuff right away. And that's even if they do it. Maybe Marvel doesn't want to do it because they retconned their marriage in the comic book, so now they're not dating, so maybe they're not going to do it in the movie. Could be that too. So if she's playing another character, it's not that big a deal to me. So far as the bad guys, Michael Keaton playing the Vulture, really like that. That's probably my highest point in the trailer so far. He looks very menacing and everything like that, and really like the way they did the suit design. Really like the evil tone that they gave his character in the trailer and everything. Out of everything I've seen in the movie, that's probably the one thing that I'm interested for the most, is how they do the Vulture's character. Because Spider-Man, for those of you who don't know, Spider-Man has a huge rogues gallery. Probably is on par with, let's say, like Batman or somebody like The Flash and all that stuff. That's how well known Spider-Man's rogues gallery is. And for some reason, Sony has always just, shoved down our throats the Green Goblin and things like that, because he's like one of the biggest ones. Fine, okay, Green Goblin and Venom, that's cool, but Spider-Man has, like, you can make movies like on tons of Spider-Man's bad guys, and even the side characters. Like, there's tons of side characters that spun off of Spider-Man comic books that they could use because Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. Like, for one, Silver Sable. You have all his other bad guys like Mysterio, Kraven, the Sinister Six, anybody, any part of any team with that. Hell, do a Hydro Man movie. It's like you have tons of villains and bad guys that you can pull from to make a Spider-Man movie. So for them to just go up and grab the Vulture, who is, even in the comic books, he was never really like one of the big heavy hitters. He was cool, but his only gimmick is that he can fly around in a mechanical suit. And he used to be able to, at least I think he did it a couple times, even in the old the 90s cartoon. They made it so he could like grab onto somebody and steal their life essence into himself to make himself younger. That's a pretty cool idea. I don't think they're gonna do that in the movie. because Michael Keaton isn't like dressed up, you know, to where he's looking. I mean, he's old, but he's not like Adrian Toombs in the comic book is an old man, like let's say like 60s, 70s, 80s, something like that. So when he stole people's youth, it made him younger, physically made him younger, while making the people he stole it from older. And he did that for a while in the cartoon and stuff, and even in the comic books he did it to Spider-Man for a little bit. But it would always go away after a few hours. So it looks like, from the vibe I'm getting from the trailer, I don't think they're gonna do that. I think it's just gonna be like, hey, look, I'm the guy who built this badass suit, and I'm gonna use it to achieve whatever he wants to achieve. One thing I will say, and this is just me guessing, is it looks like perhaps the technology that you see the bad guys and everybody using are parts of the Vulture's outfit, costume, whatever you want to call it. And maybe he's leasing out his tech, if it is his tech, to the criminals to test it out, because it's kind of weird, because they look like they're part of his gear. You know, like maybe, or maybe he steals it from somebody else. I've heard that they have the Tinkerer in this too, and that's Marvel is definitely reaching. The Tinkerer was a character in Marvel comic books who, let's say, he was like the bad guy's tech guy. if you had a supervillain that was like, oh look, I need this badass suit, or I need to take my weapon, which already does something pretty cool, but I want to make it to be badass, you would take it to him, and he would use his tech knowledge to upgrade whatever you had, whether it was your costume, your weapons, your setup, whatever. So he was kind of like a bad guy's weapon guy, tech guy that they would go to. For them to to be introducing somebody like that in movies, that's pretty cool too. It shows that Marvel isn't just sticking to just Spider-Man people. But really liking how the movie is so far. Really liking that scene at the end of the boat of him trying to hold the boat together. That was pretty cool. Also like the scenes he had with Tony Stark when he was reaching over in the limo, and he gave him a hug, and he was like, I'm not giving you a hug, I'm just opening the door. I was like, wow, that's a complete dick move. But I also like the scene at the end where it shows, I guess, Iron Man going to help Spider-Man with the problem and everything. So I'm guessing he's not gonna fight the Vulture at all. Maybe, let's say, I'm assuming Iron Man's gonna have to deal with somebody else. And the only reason I say that is because you have to make Spider-Man fight the main bad guy. They're not gonna have Spider-Man and Iron Man do a team up on the Vulture. That's just not gonna happen. Iron Man's gonna get caught up with doing something else, and then Spider-Man has to, be left to fight the Vulture or whatever. But it really interests me with the way Marvel is going with this. Like I said, I'm probably gonna not pay attention to none of the high school stuff, because to me it's like, I'm 33 pushing 34 next year, so it's like, to me, all that high school stuff, I could care less about it. But they have to, I understand, like I said before, they have to tread that ground for all the newer fans who are watching it, who are growing up with Spider-Man, and to establish their current movie verse that they're putting in with Spider-Man. So it makes sense. I mean, they got to do it. I'm probably more hyped for the sequel than I am for this, because this is going to probably make tons of money. And Sony, I don't know what the details are to the deal that they worked out with Marvel, but if they continue with the trend and everything, and if this makes tons of money, they're gonna probably get Marvel to do another one, and then another one, and then another one, and just build on it. So that's the only great thing about it, is I want to see what the sequels bring, because we already know this is gonna make money. People were pumped about when the trailer dropped on YouTube. Everybody was making videos and reaction videos and stuff like that on it. So it's gonna make tons of money, because it has Marvel's name attached to it, and it has Iron Man in it. So it's gonna make millions when it comes out. But I want to see the sequels. I want to see what a bigger budget does. I want to see like the Sinister Six, or maybe let Marvel do like a Venom movie, a good one for once, and then you can bring in Carnage, or bring in some of the other people that Spider-Man has in his rogues gallery. That's what I'm more excited for, the expanded Spider-Man universe, not really this one. I'm more excited, like I said before, about the Vulture specifically, and everything else is like, oh, it's okay, it's whatever. But the sequels, waiting for the sequels, YouTube. But anyways, let me stop rambling, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Like, are you pumped for the movie? Are you not pumped for the movie? What was your favorite part of the trailer? Let me know. My name is Denonu, the man with the biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And I will see you guys in the next commentary video. Peace out.